President Joe Biden has been feeling some of the heat to do something in the face of the extremist conservative Supreme Court gutting reproductive rights. On Friday, President Biden signed a limited executive order to help those living in states that have enacted so-called trigger laws, which prevent women and non-binary, trans men as well in the states, to, or I should say, prevent them from getting reproductive rights, reproductive health care like abortions, or even certain medications. So now the order, which was outlined in a fact sheet released by the White House, comes 2 weeks after the Supreme Court's ruling in Dobbs v. Jackson Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, which of course, unfortunately, ended the constitutional right to an abortion and sent those decisions back to the states. Under the new order, Biden is instructing the Department of Health and Human Services to take additional action to protect and expand access to abortion care, including access to medication that the FDA approved as safe and effective over 20 years ago. The order, as summarized by the White House, also expresses the Biden administration's commitment to shielding the right of pregnant people to travel safely to another state to seek the care they need, as Republican lawmakers look to bar residents from crossing state lines in order to obtain an abortion. So let me just stop there, all right? How insane is that? That Republicans who claim to be for freedom, they want to prevent pregnant people, women, trans men, non-binary, from literally leaving their states if they want to get an abortion elsewhere. They're forbidding the human right to travel. Really? I'm sorry. Are you for freedom or are you not for freedom? Because that doesn't sound like freedom to me. Barring people's right to travel. I mean, can you imagine? Like this? I mean, this is so close to being a reality now. Republicans setting up border checkpoints between the states, demanding to see if you're pregnant. That's the horrifying future and present that we have now today. An officer coming up, an agent. Oh, hey, it looks like you got a little bump there. Did you eat too much last night or what? Or maybe you're pregnant. Do we need to give you an invasive ultrasound? I can do that. Or you might want to turn around, you know, if you're pregnant. Because I hear you might want to get an abortion. Can't have that. Can't have that. These are the people that apparently say that they believe in freedom. But they don't. Of course they don't believe in freedom. It's absolutely disgusting. Now, getting back to the order here, another part of it ensures that federal workers are granted paid sick leave if they need to travel to obtain reproductive care, but this only applies to federal workers. The president also asked the chair of the FTC to consider taking steps to protect consumer privacy. He's also directing the HHS to consider additional actions to safeguard sensitive information related to reproductive health care. And so, no, I think that's important because I'd reported before how right-wingers want to get access to, and these state governments, access to period tracker apps. And you might think, wait a minute, period tracker apps? What are you talking about? Why is that an issue here? Well, they can give this data or sell this data to pro-life groups or so-called pro-life groups, anti-abortion groups, or state governments, or even be forced to hand over that information to state governments to track to see if you are leaving the state or wanting to get an abortion somewhere. Using that information. Oh, hey, it looks like according to your own records that we stole from you, you haven't had a period in so long. 5 weeks, say. 6 weeks. Ooh, looks like there might be an issue here. Maybe you're pregnant, and therefore you can't leave the state. That's a huge invasion of privacy. Huge invasion. And so I get this is good that they're taking these steps, right? And again, while these executive orders, and there are other orders involved in this, right? Good, better than nothing It is something, but it does. The fact that this had taken weeks to come out, it shows you how bad their response really has been, because it took too long to get here. Remember, the Biden administration was caught completely by surprise, even though the leaked draft had been out for some time. You would have thought that the Biden administration would have had a plan, in place, these executive orders ready right there, so that when that decision was handed down, we could go, okay, let's swing into action. Women just lost their rights to an abortion because of this extreme Supreme Court. But don't worry, we got a plan. We've got all the stuff that's ready for us to do. The minute that happens, we go out there and we tell them, okay, here's what we're going to do. The extremist Supreme Court took away your right to an abortion, but here's how we're going to protect you. That's what leadership looks like. That's what a leader does. Did we see that? No, we didn't. These orders should have been out there the moment the Supreme Court announced that ruling. If I were Biden or Harris, the same day that this happened, not only would I have had orders ready, executive orders prepared, I would have been out there breathing fire. Fire and fucking brimstone. This is the extremists on the Supreme Court. They have taken away your freedom. But we are going to do everything we can to fight for this. We are going to challenge every single Republican law in the states. We are going to drag them out to court. We are going to make this so goddamn litigious that, whatever, litigious, whatever you want to call it, right? We're going to bog you down in the courts for years. We're going to violate every state order. And we're going to make sure that you have to bring us to court. But in the meantime, we are going to protect women's reproductive freedom. We're going to do it. You want to stop us? Let's have a challenge. Bring it, bitch. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. And again, unfortunately, Biden would consider it rude. The Democrats would consider it, oh, how rude. Oh, what a waste of time. What a waste of time. No. It's called fighting. It's called actually fighting for it. Actually doing something. But instead, here's what we had. White House counsel Dana Remus, this is from CNN, had assured senior aides the Supreme Court wouldn't rule on abortion that day. A White House press aide assigned to the issue was walking to get coffee when the alert hit. Several Democratic leaders privately mocked how the president stood in the foyer of the White House, squinting through his remarks from a teleprompter as demonstrators poured into the streets, making only vague promises of action because he and his aides hadn't decided on more. He and his aides, they hadn't decided on it. They had weeks. Nope, we didn't. Oh, we didn't see it coming. Caught completely flat-footed. Is that leadership? That's not leadership. That's embarrassing. What were you doing, Joe? Were you taking a nap? Sleepy Joe? You just napping it away? And now suddenly, oh no, oh, I'm awake now. Oh, it looks like I actually have to do something now. And look, there are people on Twitter, of course. Every time you bring it up, I get libs on Twitter that, MSNBC establishment, Kamala Harris, Biden people that are saying, yeah, but Jeff, what can you do? He doesn't have the votes. You just want everything. You just want everything right now, and that's not how it works. Oh, so you just give up fighting on everything then? You just completely surrender and let Republicans take whatever the hell they want. All because we don't have the vote. Republicans didn't have the votes for years and years and years. Guess what? They win. They keep winning because they keep fighting. They keep fighting for the worst things. They fight to make your life worse. But goddamn, they don't give up. They don't give up till they do it. They don't give up till they win. Well, maybe we ought to do that. Maybe we ought to do that, but we don't. The Democrats don't. They've already thrown their hands up for the most part, until, of course, there was pressure from progressives and most of the country that did not want to see Roe overturned. So now, what can they do, right? What could he do? His hands are tied. His hands are tied. He just doesn't have the votes. All right, well, he could have used federal land to open up temporary abortion clinics on federal lands in states where abortion was banned. Now, the White House immediately shot that idea down. Oh, no. Oh, no. Can't do that. Can't do that. Well, what else? Well, we found out just today. This is according to reporter Shira Stein, who covers HHS. Okay. She tweeted out this, quote, "The Biden administration also considered declaring a public health emergency to preserve broad access to abortion services following the overturn of Roe. However, officials ultimately decided against the move, according to people familiar with the matter." So here's something they could have done: a public health emergency to at least temporarily allow for Roe to continue, to allow for women and everyone else to get reproductive health care. And they decided, that'd be too disruptive. Sorry, we're not going to do it. It would have been disruptive. It would have been too big. It would have been too bold. And it would have made Republicans very, very mad. Oh, they wouldn't have been happy about that. They probably would have challenged it in court. And again, there's so many excuses. Oh, Republicans they'll do this, they'll do that, they'll strike this down. There's even people that argued, well, we couldn't codify Roe because Republicans would strike it down. Oh, well, why don't we just roll over, give up, and let Republicans do everything they want? Let's just give Republicans everything. Why don't we take the shovel and dig a fucking hole and lie down in it and let the Republicans just, push the dirt on top of us? Why not? Why don't we just fucking die? I mean, why even be there? Why are you there if you're not going to fight? Why are you there if you're not going to challenge them? Aren't you supposed to be the opposition party? Isn't being an opposition party mean you actually have to oppose what the other people are doing? And you actually have to challenge these laws? And you have to challenge these norms and do something different? But no, oh, we can't do that. We can't do that at all. No, again, would make Republicans very, very mad and would be very upset. They would be very upset, and it would just be so rude. How dare you? Well, that's just not following the norms. And you think Republicans do that? No, they don't do that at all. Now, there were other ideas. Senator Elizabeth Warren and Senator Patty Murray from Washington also said this. They also suggested that federal agencies could explore opportunities to provide vouchers for travel, childcare services, and other forms of support for individuals seeking to access abortion care that is unavailable in their home state. Guess what they did? Did they do that? No. They didn't do any of this stuff. So understand that while this is Biden waking up from his nap, Sleepy Joe saying, oh man, oh God, fine, I'll do something. I'll just do a little bit, okay? I got to do something. These damn progressives are up my ass again, and they're interrupting my nap. Fine, we'll sign this. Okay, still, no cookie for you. You don't get any goddamn cookies because you have already failed and you have already given up. And what you're doing is the bare minimum way too late.